So welcome, folks at home, once again to another episode of Wiki Weekends. I'm joined off camera, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Lucas Holland. Say hello, Lucas.
Oh, I'm beautiful today, thank you.
Well, you kept calling me your lovely co-host, so I've got to step it up. And I've got a question for you, Lucas. Do you want to talk about anime, or something that should be an anime?
Oh, I'm going to say should be an anime, because spoilers, I've brought an anime thing for us this weekend.
Okay then, in which case, today we're talking about Kazuma Kiryu.
You know what? Before just recording, I was literally listening to a podcast where they were talking about, oh yeah, the new Yakuza's game going to have, an Animal Crossing minigame inside of it.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Kazuma Kiryu is the protagonist of the Yakuza series up to about the 7th one, where he's replaced by Ichiban, but only still appears because he's so well known. And now the Yakuza series is basically just become like Call of Duty in that they release 2 or 3 a year now. There's 3 Yakuza games out right now, Lucas.
Yeah, and comments are going to have a go because it's like a dragon, but we've spent so long with it being called Yakuza that it's hard to transition over.
And that's why I said it should be an anime, because the title of the newest game is Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. And it's that's an anime title, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
And we're specifically referring today to the Heroes Wiki. There is a Yakuza Wiki, but it doesn't have a powers and abilities section for Kiryu, and this one does, so we're using this. So, for anyone who doesn't know Kazuma Kiryu, let's get a feel for a broad overview of his character and characterization. We have a quote from him here. I can take another name and build a new life, but on the inside, I'll always have that instinct, no matter how much I hate it. I'm Yakuza through and through. Guile only gets you so far in this game. Remember that. You won't get another chance. And then Kazuma Kiryu is the main protagonist of the Yakuza / Like a Dragon video game series published by Sega. And he's arguably the most well-known character from them now, given that, I said, he's been in more games than Sonic has in the last 5 years.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what those stats stack up to now, because there's so many Like a Dragon games coming out.
There is, so I said there's 2 or 3 of them out this year. So his legendary exploits of his ascension to the top of the Tojo clan and infamous back tattoo have earned him the title the Dragon of Dojima, which is so anime!
Dojima no Ryu ga
It's one of the best titles you could have. Yeah, it's so strong.
Well, it's one of them, but he's got better ones than that, because we have his full name, Kazuma Kiryu. Aliases and nicknames include the Dragon of Dojima, the 4th Chairman, Kiryu-chan by Goro Majima, Mr. by and Uncle Kaz by his orphan children friends, because he's friends with a bunch of orphans, Prisoner 1240, Telephone Boy, Mr. Mezu King, Schnookums, Taichi Suzuki, Judgment Kazi, that's his nickname for the karaoke games that he does on his own, Kawarochi's Fastest, and Joryu.
And I just can't get away from Kiryu-chan, because him and Majima,
it's such a good bromance. Kiryu-chan! And then you got the Majima Everywhere system, where he just follows you around like the giant cone, and he just jumps out to kick the shit out of you. It's great.
Nani?
I just love the fact that literally Kiryu gets out of prison, and the first thing that happens is Majima jumps at him and just mugs him out of nowhere. He's like, "You've not been training, Kiryu.
Do you know that bit that Chris Hemsworth ad-libbed in Thor Ragnarok? There's a time where Loki turned, he turned into a snake, because I like snakes, I love snakes. I went over and I picked it up, and then he turned back to Loki and he stabbed me. Now that's Majima. Majima would do that. And if you don't know, that was ad-libbed by Chris Hemsworth, and they just kept rolling the camera because it was so fucking funny. And it's such a not Thor moment, isn't it? You can tell in that it's not Thor, but it's still really funny. He turned into a snake. You know that I love snakes.
There was one time when we were children,
He transformed himself into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes. So I went to pick up the snake to admire it, and he transformed back into himself, and he was like, "Yeah, it's me!" And he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
If we're boosting...
And that's the thing is, like, you know, obviously Ragnarok did a much better job than Love and Thunder of just, like, making Thor, like, that balance between Thor and
Chris
just
Hemsworth,
basically a human in Chris Hemsworth, like, ad-libbing. And, yeah, then they went, oh, people really like the ad-libs and the jokes, right? Let's just make the entire film like...
Yeah. But like, we have many sections on Kiryu here of appearance, personality, powers, and abilities. So we'll go through his appearance. People don't know. There's probably a picture of him on screen right now, but he's a tall, well-built, muscular man. And due to his intensive training and repeated scuffles, like, you know, yeah, he just fights every game. And they even, like, and I love the Yakuza series contextualizing, like, why does everyone try and beat Kiryu up? Like, first game, it makes kind of sense, like, you know, he's a Yakuza, and, like, Yakuza constantly fighting. But, like, by the 5th, 6th, 7th games, people keep fighting this guy who's, like, got such a legendary reputation, he once beat up 100 men. On his own, one of which had a rocket launcher. And they say it's like, oh, it becomes like a hazing ritual for rival, like, Yakuza clans to send them after Kiryu.
But, like, the man wrestles bears.
No, Kiryu doesn't wrestle a bear. That's Tiger Sajima, who Kiryu physically stalemates in combat. Although
he could, in theory, wrestle a bear.
He does fight a bear in the underground Colosseum sections, and I believe that all of the side quests are canon, because in later games they'll acknowledge side quests from previous games. Which means that Kiryu must have done them to be, like, you know, aware of the people involved.
So yeah, like, just why are there multiple people in these Yakuza games that, like, have fought bears and came out on top?
Well, like, Kiryu hasn't fought a bear, but he fought a tiger. And in fact, his most famous and devastating singular attack is called the Kameki Tiger Drop. And all it is, he drops to one knee and punches you as hard as he can in the solar plexus. And it instantly incapacitates every enemy in the game. Like, it's the singular most powerful attack in the entire game, and it's fucking unstoppable. Despite his intimidating appearance, he is considered to be quite handsome, having brown eyes that are commented on to be beautiful and attractive to women. And it's like, yeah, kidding. Like, look at him. He smolders.
Yeah.
That man smolders.
God, yeah, that's an attractive man right there.
He is, and I will not stop finding it funny that for, like, the trailer for, like, one of the latest games, like, Kiryu cries. And he don't cry like, you know, the single manly tear. Like, he sobs like big, salty, wet tears. Because, like, you know, he's had such a hard fucking life. And there's people that say, why is Kiryu a pussy now? And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Man showing any, like, emotion whatsoever is, like, seen as weak. Even though, from, like, the second game onwards, Kiryu is the owner of an orphanage.
Yeah.
Because he loves kids and he wants to protect them.
Well, like, you know, I've played very limited amounts of these games, but we played through Yakuza Zero together, and even then, like, his origin story is him, like, giving a shit and being an emotional man.
And he's such a nice guy as well. That's the thing. He's so nice and he's willing to help people all the time. Like, he displays many traits that people say is, like, you know, positive masculinity. Like, he's physically, you know, very strong, has, like, you know, the idealistic masculine ideal of, like, you know, well-built, the triangle, Dorito. Like, he's buff, he fights everybody, but he's also got the things that, like, he cares about children, he's very accepting and welcoming of others, like, he's very chivalrous.
I was gonna say, and also he just belts out on a karaoke night.
Yeah, he can sing. He has non-masculine hobbies like karaoke, racing cars, playing video games. Yeah, he's just he's an all-rounder. But here we go. So personality. Kiryu is infamous for being the stoic but highly just and honourable living legend in the dark world of the Yakuza, driven by determination and strictly adhering to his virtues and honour, which he learned from his father. Or his adoptive father, I should say. Although admitting that he is no saint, Kiryu's strong sense of justice makes it his primary priority to protect vulnerable civilians, like women and children, from corrupt Yakuza and other powerful figures. He is more than willing to die for his belief and for the sake of others. His compassion even extends to helping out regular civilians without hesitation or expecting any reward. And that's how he becomes so friends with everyone in the world, because he's always willing to help people out.
Yeah, and just like, that's the thing is, those games nearly all right until like the Infinite Wealth like take place in Kamurocho.
Yeah, just like Kamurocho and then like one other place.
Yeah, and it's like that's only
it's one city block.
It's a few dozen like streets and stuff. It's you've got to be very well known by the point of like Yakuza 5 or 6, where just that man walking down the street is like, that's Kiryu. Like, you would know who that man is at that point.
And the fact as well is everyone's his friend.
Yeah, everyone loves him.
Everyone's his friend, except for all the Yakuza who he just beats the shit out of. So, one of his strongest moral tendencies is strong protectiveness towards women, children, the elderly, and animals. His disapproval of them coming to harm is such that upon seeing someone violating them, is bound to make him show his temper and beat them down, which he does a lot. Like the amount of times like where someone like will slap a woman in front of Kiryu and it's like, okay, so you've chosen death. And you might think, that's a meme. Kiryu's signature provocation is, and I quote, only those who have a death wish step forth. Like his signature line before a beatdown is, if you want to die, step up, otherwise fuck off. Basically, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
ああそうだ手加減はいらねえ死にてえやつだけかかってこい
His affinity with children makes him a strong caretaker to the children of the Morning Glory Orphanage, that's the name of the orphanage that he has, being genuinely kind and understanding and earning the nickname Uncle Kaz from the children there. He is shown to be somewhat awkward towards everyday life situations, often becoming flustered and bewildered, especially whenever women make advances or when he sees civilians get involved in bizarre and awkward circumstances. Nonetheless, he is patient enough to form deep relationships with them, and even when they end, as seen by the termination of several romantic relationships, he does not easily despair.
So he has shown that he's had romantic relations in the past. Because
yeah, but I think he is canonically a virgin.
Yeah, I was going to say in Yakuza 0, he's just this guy who's, obviously super handsome and all these women want
Which
him,
is
but
the
he's
anime
just
thing
super
as well,
awkward
yeah.
around them.
Like,
yeah.
he's super he's like, it's basically that self-fulfillment thing. Is like, he's super handsome, he's the strongest and he's the coolest, but he never sleeps with any of the women because he's too chaste and just. Mm-hmm. Which is the thing that's like why a lot of women find like the character attractive. Of like he's super handsome and buff and all that good stuff, but he's too chaste and he's nervous around women despite having no fears about like facing down ninjas and tigers and stuff. Kiryu is often recognised as being forgiving and merciful, as he prefers to spare defeated enemies rather than killing them, to the point where he even uses swords and guns in non-fatal ways, which is the joke in the Yakuza fandom of like Kiryu's never killed anyone. Here's a clip of him not killing someone. Even though he so obviously does.
Is it one of those Batman things where he just leaves them crippled for death?
Yeah, it's the thing like some of his like heat moves that he just shoots people.
Yeah, yeah, because those heat moves don't hold back when he's just like beating people's faces against brick walls. It's like, I don't know how much of a chance they have.
Yeah, and it's in Yakuza 5, he does admit that he has killed people, though they were almost always in self-defense, like fighting people who are trying to kill him, and it's done accidentally.
I mean, accidentally in big air quotes, like, You're right, I didn't mean to stomp on his head for the 8th time.
To be fair, though, like, when they're coming at him with, like, the knife, and you counter the knife by hitting them with their own knife, it's like, what did they expect? Like, when you're surrounded by 100 dudes armed with rocket launchers and machine guns, a couple of them are just going to go down in, like, just the crossfire. And people are probably thinking that I might exaggerate when I say Kiryu beat up 100 dudes. No, like, one of the legendary exploits that made him so famous in the underworld is when he fought 100 men. And it's known as, like, the 100-man army, and he did that on his own. I think, like, Yakuza 6 is when he rocks up and fights, like, 500 men with 5 of his friends. And he does it again.
どんなご用菅井と話がしたいだがお前らの案内は無用だ
And then Yakuza 0 has, like, the best moments in the game where it's, like, the tower battles, where it's, like, you run through an entire stage. And it's just, again, you fight, like, dozens, if not hundreds of people while you, like, fight your way to a final boss. It's ridiculous. He's beating up so many people.
It's like you go room to room to room, battling more and more enemies every time. And like, each wave of enemies is, like, 20 men with weapons. And he goes through that, like, 10 times.
Yeah, and he's unfucking stoppable. But, speaking of which... powers and abilities. Combat capabilities. Kazuma Kiryu is mostly well known for his extraordinary, almost completely and wholly unmatched skill and might in battle, deeply feared and admired by others who are aware of what he's capable of, which is fair, and that's why you have, like, some of the games people want to fight him. It's like, I've heard how good you are, and he's like, well, I'm not that good. It's like, no, I know. And he'll do, like, the anime thing of, like, okay, maybe I can actually go all out for this one, because he says, like, he never goes all out in a fight. Because he knows that if he did, it'd be over in, like, a split second and the person might die.
Yeah, he just always holding back until he finds the rival that can actually bring out his full strength.
Yeah, and that's what Majima does. Like, Majima sees him as, like, his ultimate rival, and that's why the Majima Everywhere system's so good. It's every time you beat Majima, you learn a new fighting move. Because you remember something that you forgot.
Yeah, because it's literally just that Majima is pissed off that his... once strong rival has not been training in prison, has forgotten all his training.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll keep attacking you out of bins to just make sure that you level up again.
So, Master Martial Artist. Kazuma Kiryu is a terrifyingly formidable and extraordinarily accomplished Master Martial Artist who is perhaps the single greatest fighter in the entire series. And yeah, like, it's just some of the shit he can do. And he learns it all by, like, via sight. Like, you have, like, in Yakuza 0, where he learns new moves by watching people. And he's like, that's rad, and learns how to mimic it perfectly.
Yeah, he's almost like bloody Taskmaster in that sense in that game.
So he has mastered a vast variety of martial arts. He's particularly skilled in wrestling, brawling, and acrobatic arts, incorporating elements of street fighting, karate, pro wrestling, Krav Maga, judo, and kickboxing into his signature Dragon of Dojima style, which itself is a blending of 3 styles, Beast, Rush, and Brawler. To combine them all into a single fluid martial art that is, like, has the advantages of all 3 with none of the disadvantages. So it's like Beast style is like the strong one that's slow, Rush style is one that's fast and weak, and then Brawler is like kind of a blend that has grabs. And then he combines them all into the Dragon of Dojima style, which is fucking unstoppable.
Yeah, because that's like in Yakuza 0, you kind of learn each one and progress each one, and then by the end game, it's like, no, we actually form all 3 together to make the Dojima style.
Yeah, the Dragon style. So his fighting style is extremely versatile, able to focus in either phenomenal speed or tremendous strength, the numerous, ferocious, yet fluid and adaptable combat techniques. He is shown to be able to defeat more than 100 Tojo clan members, while very easily taking down Yuta and Nagomo, while greatly holding back, besting Akiyama and Tanimura with some difficulty, while making short work of the former in a one-on-one fight, soundly overpowering Daigo in their early fights and coming out on top, Daigo even admitting he was no match for him. And that's the one, like, you keep fighting new people who are like, oh yeah, I'm strong, I'm actually super secret badass from, like, another part of Japan.
God, I really like the fact that all of this is describing his, martial arts prowess, and all I can think of, like, is him just launching motorcycles at people.
The thing is, that's a really strong martial art. That's the thing. It's a really strong technique.
後悔するな
And it's like, that's the thing, is like you fight so many people, and I love like Yakuza 5 is where you play through the game as Akiyama. You team up with another guy, and you both fight Kiryu, and like you both do your signature move, and Kiryu just does like that and blocks both attacks at the same time, and kicks the fuck out of you.
覚悟はいいな行くぞ
Perhaps his greatest rival is the highly skilled mad dog of the Tojo clan, Goro Majima. And he's only ever been stalemated in terms of raw strength by the legendary Tiger Saejima, while he wasn't even fighting at full force.
So that's the way to get around it. Is like, oh, he did actually stalemate with Tiger, but he was holding back secretly.
But it's like, and Tiger Saejima is like one of the physically strongest human beings in that universe, where like just some of his rush moves and his heat moves, like for example, he grabs you by one leg, throws you into the air, and then like clotheslines you in the spine. And he does that, that's just one of his normal moves. You know, speaking of which,
you said Tiger's the one that battled the bear, right?
yeah, and like he's known as like and that's why it's the joke of like because Kiryu fights a tiger, and the guy's called Tiger, and his like the thing on his back is a tiger. Like Kiryu has the dragon on his back, and Tiger Saejima has the tiger. And in like myth, tigers and dragons with it, like the only thing a dragon would respect would be a tiger. It's the only creature which could rival the strength and ferocity of a dragon, so it's the only thing that a dragon would respect, and that's a nod to that of like the tiger versus the dragon. And then you have like moments where they team up, and it's like, well, you're fucked. So, what do you do?
They are committed to a theme, aren't they?
Superhuman physical conditioning. Supplementing Kiryu's extraordinary fighting skills are superhuman levels of physical prowess. His physical abilities in all fields have proven to be terrifying, being capable of effectively engaging in numerous highly difficult situations of fights with other individuals of fearsome power and coming out on top with little to no exertion. Very few are able to match Kiryu's physical abilities in even one aspect. To the point, the Amon clan, which are the super secret final boss of every game, consider him to be the perfect life form. He's just Cell.
Guys, anyway, Evo 2022, Cell games, Cell intro, take 2. Throwback to season 1. Enjoy, everybody. Enjoy this moment. Chat, get hype. Let's go. Yeah! This is no game!
This includes, but is not limited to, immense strength. Kiryu's extraordinary physical strength allows him to completely overpower and manhandle any normal enemy with complete ease, capable of tossing them around, restraining and slamming them, and leaving them incapacitated with a few blows. He can handle large beasts and animals with ease, as shown when he stopped a charging 3-ton bull in its tracks and flicked it to the side by grabbing its horns. Or battle 2 tigers at once. That's the thing. God. It's not that he fights 1 tiger, it's that he fights 2.
I think that fact as well, like stopping a charging 3-ton bull.
He once tipped over a giant Yamagata with his bare hands and pushed it with enough force to cause a shockwave. Effortlessly yanked out a great white shark over 5 meters long with a simple fishing pole before stopping it from closing its mouth and punching it away.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't believe he goes fishing in a river in Kamurocho.
And he catches a shark.
Just pulls out a great white shark.
And he fights it.
But then not only that, he just punches it.
Immense speed and reflexes. Despite his muscular and large physique, Kiryu's speed and reflexes are also extremely impressive, bordering on superhuman. At his maximum speed with Rush and Dragon Spirit, he can effortlessly cover a great distance in a single dash, and dodge or counter attacks with such speed as to leave after images. He's like after images. He can move at speeds that make him appear as a blur, faster than the human eye can perceive, and can react to things in the surroundings as if they're in slow motion. He is capable of reacting to and countering bullets. And
that is literally anime levels.
Yeah, and one of the things that he can do is he can punch swords.
My God.
He
can just use his aura to make sure the swords don't hurt him.
Immense durability. Kiryu's body is extraordinarily resilient. He's capable of amplifying his durable body with proper usage of techniques designed to weaken and, in some cases, wholly neutralize damage. He is completely unaffected and unfazed by normal levels of blunt force, taking punches to the head without injury, even from the likes of strong fighters. And that's where you have like he's like the super secret final boss of Yakuza 7, and the opening of the fight is your main character, who's like max level at that point and has fought hundreds of men themselves, runs up and punches Kiryu as hard as they can in the center of his forehead, and he doesn't move.
Is this like a super secret boss?
Yeah, and it's the one where like Kiryu can instantly kill you in one hit.
He's got the insta-kill.
And when you unlock him, you get his summon. And his summon is just like, he comes in, he just says like essence of the dragon god, and he just insta-kills everything. He's just Bahamut.
Oh my God. Kiryu-chan.
He's the best. Immense durability. He's survived having a glass bottle slammed to the back of his head, can withstand high-level fire weapons like helicopter missiles and full-powered shark bites. And then immense stamina and endurance. Kiryu's greatest strength is perhaps his terrifyingly formidable levels of stamina and endurance, with a history of participating in numerous gruesome battles where he fights like hundreds of people. He's even been able to repeatedly survive being shot in close proximity by bullets and remains conscious for a noteworthy period of time, ultimately to heal without any lasting injuries.
Yeah, the amount of beatdowns that man gets and just walks it off is ridiculous.
Just walk it off like it's nothing.
It's like, you could just like tear that man in half, he'd just get up the next day.
It's like that one I said, like you punch him full force in the center of the head and he doesn't die.
Yeah.
And like that's after you fight as well. You fight Majima and Saejima teaming up, and that's a tough fight, them two teamed up.
And then after you can beat them, Kiryu just doesn't even flinch.
Yeah, and like he's just always like the secret super final boss in like every game where he's not directly playable. And it's just that thing, it's always the tiger drop. And I think as well he has the tiger drop in that game, and like if he does it, you just die. He just hits you and you insta-die. And one of the ways you can try and cheese the fight is if you have a team of women, Kiryu won't attack them, but that just means all he does is go all in on Ishiban. And he's just Ishiban just gets wailed on like constantly, and he's like, oh god no, why did I do this?
God, yeah. Just like it's like the upside is none of your teammates can get hurt. The downside, he's coming for you.
Yeah. It says here, so his other abilities include intimidation. Due to his extraordinary reputation as a fighter, Kiryu commands an incredibly intimidating presence that terrifies most of his enemies and causes them to respect him. And I think I've got to put the clip in of Kiryu opening a door. Whereas that just like took two Yakuza dudes trying to look cool in front of the door, and Kiryu kicks it open, they fly out the window. It's like, you just hear that storming, you don't fucking mess with him, do you? Just, boom!
The most surprising thing is that after 18 arcs of Like a Dragon, people still continue to mess with him.
Well, that's what makes it funny as well, because like there's always that one person who thinks they're strong enough to beat him. And that's what makes it so the longer it goes on, the funnier it gets.
And I presume that with a game title like The Man Who Erased His Name, it's like he ran away from the life of the Yakuza and changed his identity, but you still look at that man and go, oh yeah, he's got the giant Dragon of Dojima tattoo on his back, and he's also built to shit and can probably bench an entire planet. It's like, maybe, do you think this is the same guy?
Yeah, he goes into like hiding in like Hawaii, I think. I've not played it yet. It's been on my list for a while. There's been a lot of good games out this year, but I'm looking forward to playing it. It's just, yeah, that's Kazuma Kiryu. And like, you know, if you like some anime, well, why don't you go check out this shirt that I'm wearing, which is available for pre-order now via the links you will find below, which is for the Facfiend brand. It's our Facfiend logo, reimagined as an anime character, which is why I wanted to talk about anime today. I thought it'd be a good like leading for talking about this.
Excellent, yeah. And yeah, we've got like the t-shirt is on pre-order until I think it was like the 8th of November. So you can go check that out, and there'll be links to our new enamel anime style pins as well below.
And it's like, hell, goddamn, yeah, like, go check this shit out. You can go looking now. So, like, basically, I just gave the artist the thing of, take my logo and make it an anime girl with massive tits. And let's say no. Just perfect. Oh, well, thank you for that. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And go play one of the 45 Yakuza games to exist. They're all fantastic. I guarantee you, you'll have a good time. Cheers.
ダメだねダメよダメ